What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So, don't mind the intro. My car was absolutely filthy, and Alexis just couldn't help himself. And speaking of Alexis, I'm sure you guys have heard that name if you've been keeping up with the more recent videos. You've heard his name more frequently. It's because he's actually, been a real big help for me, and in the last couple of videos that we've been doing. And he's going to be a huge help for me today with the goodies that we're going to be installing. So if you couldn't already tell by either the title or the thumbnail, we're going to be installing big brakes on my 2015 Focus ST. And for those who are new to the channel, which maybe with this video, so there might be some new traffic, but my car at its current state right now, it's fully built, stage 3 cams, Molly pistons, Manley connecting rods, like it's ready to go. I just downloaded a new revision. It's like my almost 30th revision at this point. It's crazy, but the car feels absolutely amazing, and the power is there. It's always there, and it just stays punching, and it's like a train. It's crazy. But one of the biggest things was the brakes. The brakes always failed me, especially when data logging, even just data logging. You have to go out and, third through fourth, you have to give them all the data. And doing that over and over again, trying to get this thing tuned and, braking hard over and over again at the track is really, I've even learned this when I tracked the car over a year ago at this point. The brakes were always a weakness. So this is going to be a massive step in the right direction for this car to be faster on the track. Obviously, if it's still a street car, which most people who have these cars, it's just a street car, it's your daily. I guess the stock brakes are okay, but once you really start getting comfortable with the car and really start actually testing the limits of the car, the stock brake system kind of fails. And for those who have daily STs, an RS, Focus RS Brembo kit actually is a pretty good option, but I decided to go with this because I'm going to be beating the absolute crap out of these brakes at the track. So I need something that's going to be able to take that, and these brakes paired with steel braided brake lines. I got steel braided brake lines for the rear, and I got this Motul .4 fluid. So it should be ready to boogie. I did actually have an incident. Alexis was in the car with me. We were up filming the last video, I believe, and my clutch line decided to just blow out on the way back down from where we were filming. So kind of got stranded, had to get the car towed home, and got a steel braided clutch line. So it's gonna have full steel braided hydraulic system, and it's gonna be ready to take a beating. So without further ado, let's get into installing this stuff. It's pretty straightforward, so we're not really going to go too in-depth with installing. I mean, if you ever worked on brakes, you understand how to take a caliper off or a rotor. So we're just going to start throwing stuff on, get these lines on, get the system bled, and see really how much of a difference these brakes are going to make with this car. Because like I said, the braking power with this car was always a problem. When you're doing over 100 miles an hour, 120 miles an hour, coming to a stop on the pedal, and it just sinks to the floor, it's never a good feeling. So I'm really happy to be able to do this, and I thank R1 Concepts for allowing me to have this opportunity. So yeah, we're gonna start unboxing and get everything together. Alright, so I already went ahead and opened it when I was at home, just because I got carried away. I was a little excited when I first got it, but anyways, it comes with instructions, and they're very vague. Like I said, if you've ever worked on brakes, it's pretty self-explanatory. Just unbolt the caliper and the rotors and stuff, and then replace the lines. But pretty much what comes in the kit, it'll come with a foam piece on top, but this is what comes under the foam piece. As you see, you have the calipers, and then right here comes with all the lines and the banjo fittings you'll need to secure it to the calipers. And then you have the mounting brackets that mount to your spindles. That's what the calipers mount to. And then all your required hardware to make everything work. Comes with Loctite, what I think is touch-up paint, And then all the shims you'll need to help center the caliper over the rotor if it's needed. We'll see that when we get everything installed. But yeah, these things are pretty freaking beefy. I mean, just comparing them to my hands, they're really big. So they come with these little foam pieces in the calipers. They slide out. And they said that they shipped these with the track pad. So these are going to be one of, if not the most aggressive pad that you're able to run on these brakes. And like I said, if you didn't see before, these are from R1 Concepts. They're a Southern California local to me company that I reached out to, and I was like, hey, I have a channel. I'm sure people would want to see your brakes on my car. So yeah, I'm super thankful for them, at least, you know, helping me out a little bit getting these. I mean, they weren't cheap, but definitely going to be well worth the money. All right, so now we have the two-piece rotors. Ooh. Already, these rotors, they pretty much take up 2 of my hands width-wise. They're a little over, like a smidge over 14 inches wide. And then the instructions, they say to clean this surface on either side of the rotor with soapy water, not brake cleaner. In the instructions, it says that the soapy water cleans the surface better than brake cleaner would. So there's an anti-rust treatment that they put on the rotors so that obviously they don't rust in packaging. So yeah, I didn't see anything in the instructions specifying that you need to torque these, all of these rotor bolts down. I looked on the back side, it looks like they've already been torqued, and I'm sure that they have their sequence and everything, but nothing in the like I said, nothing in the instructions said to torque these down. But the kit did come with Loctite. It's very wise that you use Loctite on any bolt that you're fastening to the car, just because these are going to be dealing with a lot more heat, a lot more load, and probably a lot more stress in general. So these are directional as well. So as many people think, you know, these slots determine the direction or the side of which the rotor goes on the car. That's actually false. What determines the side it goes on is actually the internal vanes and whether or not it's actually a rotational rotor. So if you look at the vanes here, if you look at them, these ones are facing this direction. So in a sense, the air would be kind of flying out of it like that. So this is going to go on the driver's side because the fins are going to want to point towards the rear of the car. So like I said, driver's side, even though these are pointed forward, this is still going to be your driver's side rotor. So these are just to increase the bite. The slots are just to increase bite with the initial depression of the brake pedal. And that's why I went with these and not the cross-drilled, because cross-drilled, eventually they crack. So I wanted to reduce the chance that the rotors had, you know, any cracks in them or anything like that, because I know I was going to get them hot. So yeah, I'm going to start cleaning these and then disassembling the stock brake system. So as you see, cars back on the ground. We did experience some oh, and by the way, it has actually been quite some time since we last filmed for this video in particular. Me and my girlfriend just moved. We moved out, so there's been a lot going on, so I haven't really been able to keep up with the channel, but you know, life happens and you got to take care of responsibilities. But you know, we're here now. If you can tell, the car has different wheels on the front, so I went ahead and I had to go get some work emotions, and then these are the two-piece work emotions. They are the forged welded two-piece wheel. I actually picked them up for a really good price from this guy Dino. I just found him on OfferUp and then hit him up, and thank you so much, Dino, for offering the deal. One of them slightly bent just on the inner lip. It's not anything you can feel. They balance, it's fine. I do actually plan on getting 2 more for the rear, but I just needed them to be able to fit the brakes. So super grateful for that. And then just so that you guys know, I did actually measure the clearances beforehand, but I didn't verify to see if all of the dimensions on the printout were accurate. So basically what you do is you print out their template, and then you have to verify with a tape measure that all of the measurements are actually, you know, to scale. So I had printed out the template to measure the wheel clearance for the big brakes, and I didn't verify that they were actually correct. So that was my bad. The old wheels did not fit, obviously, but overall, oh my god, the performance of these brakes literally have changed this car completely. The confidence level has gone up higher than I would have thought. Even if I, you know, was planning on getting big brakes, I didn't think that it would affect the car this much. And if you're planning on going, I'd say close to 400 or over 400 horsepower with these cars, the brake system needs to be on point, because you get to the point where, you know, you're going fast, and I mean, this car is very light, so, or it's lighter, it's not very light, but it's a lot lighter than it was from the factory. So you're getting to a point where you're just moving super fast, and you have to be able to stop. And if you can't stop, then, you know, that it could turn into something very bad and very tragic. So I'm really excited about the brakes. I am actually going to the track this Sunday, so I'm going to be filming that whole process, and I'm going to be taking you guys along for the ride, and we're going to experience this whole thing together. So it's been quite a while since I've been able to track the car. It's been about 2 years now. A lot has changed with the car, and these brakes were essential to be able to go out and actually have fun with it and feel confident and feel safe and not fear coming into a corner doing over 100 or 120. And you know, when you're doing that type of speed, confidence is literally your best friend, and if you don't have it, then you won't do well. Either you won't do well, or bad things will happen, because the car won't perform like you want it to. So these brakes have outperformed my expectations. I have nothing but good things to say about them. And just to give you guys an idea of the bed-in process, so it took me about a week. It seems like a long time, but in the instructions, it instructs you to get the brakes up to temp, and then so just go around, just kind of lightly brake. Don't sit on the brakes all the way. Whenever you come to a stop, don't sit on the brakes until you actually start the bed-in process. So you just want to get them a little warm, and then you go out and you do like 100 miles an hour or more, and you just smash on the brakes. You just smash on them, and the more you do this, basically the goal is to adhere the pad material onto the rotor surface. So what that's going to do is promote a very grippy surface between the pad and the rotor, and that's what you're looking for when you're trying to bed in the brakes. So that process does take quite some time, and then this isn't my daily driver, so I had to go out and, you know, hard brake about, you know, they say 6 times. You got to do over 100. Brake. Don't come to a full stop. After you heat these things up, do not come to a full stop. You don't want to lay on the pedal while they're hot either, because what it does is it actually transfers too much of that pad material onto the rotor, creating a pulsation, or what people like to complain as warped rotors, when really it's not warped rotors, it's just an uneven distribution of pad material onto the rotor. So there's a lot of misconception with that, and people thinking that they actually have warped rotors, and oh, R1 Concepts makes crappy rotors or whatnot. And no, it's just the fact that you didn't bed them in properly. After I had bedded in the brakes, you can definitely feel the difference with the brake system, obviously, but one thing I did notice is that the pads that I had beforehand on the stock brakes actually bit a little bit harder initially than these do, and a lot of that could have to do with the pad material itself. I'll have to get in contact with R1 Concepts to see if they have a more aggressive track pad. They told me that this pad is good. I don't know the model number, I'm sorry. They said that this pad was actually a good mix between street driving and track driving, but more directed towards aggressive track driving. So, and the rears actually have EBC yellows, and those have lasted forever since I had the fronts, because most of the work's been in the front anyways. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do a 60 to 0 just to give you guys an idea of, you know, how fast this thing stops, and then yeah, I guess we can just see how that does. From 60 to 0. Don't really have a lot of space. The brakes are cold, so this will give you an idea of still how much stopping power these things have even when they are cold. Because obviously when they're hot, they're going to perform a lot better. So you're going to see what she can do. So yeah, that was cold brakes and cold tires, and still I managed to stop before the median actually ended. And I stopped where I began stopping where my girlfriend was actually standing filming. So pretty impressive in my opinion. I mean, it's substantially better than stock. And especially when you start heating up the stock brakes, that's when you really run into problems, because the fade is absolutely terrible. It's terrible. I remember when I went to Auto Club Speedway for the first time, the brakes were probably the main concern. I went into the track day with about, 7 millimeters and left with maybe 2. It literally just burned through the pads. So yeah, definitely super grateful and super happy to be able to run these brakes on the car and be able to have the performance that I really need to be able to push this car to the limit. So I got some more goodies that I put on the car too, while there was this dead period while we were moving. I did get some white line sway bars, front and rear, and went and I tested the car out yesterday, and oh my goodness gracious, this thing is going to be so fun at the track. So I'm going to Chuckwalla on March 7th, which is this Sunday, and really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to pushing this car again, because it's been way too long. It's been, like I said, almost 2 years since I've been out with the car, and it's got a fully built engine, it's fully stripped, it's got bucket seats, harnesses, big brakes, better tires, better wheels in the front at least, better cooling, just it's a completely different car. So I hope you guys are really looking forward to watching me have fun with this thing, and thank you again to R1 Concepts for hooking me up with a pretty good deal on these brakes. I mean, they were still a pretty penny, but definitely worth every single penny, so thank you guys so much for continuing to tune in and watch the videos and everything. I know I'm not really good at posting, but it is what it is. I still love doing it, still love having fun with the car, and I just hope you guys enjoy watching me do the same thing. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. And I'll see you at the track.